In this demo, we're going to look at some of the cumulative functoids, and what they do is they work on loops. So like here we have children, and it can occur many times. Max occurs unbounded, and you don't have to have any children. And so what you can do is, for instance, find the maximum age of all your children. And this is going to be part of the lab that's coming up. So here, the age of the oldest child. So what it's cumulative would mean it's going to look at all the children, and then it's going to pick only the highest value of all of them. Whereas if you want to know how much they all make, you could do a cumulative sum and sum up their salaries, and then move that over here to total child salary, total children's salary. So let's test that. Scroll over here and click. And so you can see the oldest child was 17, and the sum of all the salaries of all the children was 13,500. So that's exactly what we wanted. The cumulative concatenate is rarely used, I would say, but just as an example, if you wanted to get all the names of the children concatenated, which again is kind of like I said, a strange example. Let's take all their names, concatenate them together, and let's stick that temporarily in the customer name. So we'll test. And so you can see your customer name is now Sally, Johnny, Leroy. So there might be some times you need it, but that's pretty rare. And speaking of rarity, let's go back to some of these other functoids over here. There's all these logarithmic scientific functoids, tangent, sine, cosine, tangent, all that stuff. In the scientific world, I'm sure those are used, but in the business world, rarely ever used. When's the last time you had to convert to octal inside of a map? Not that common. However, ASCII to character to ASCII, you might need to do that, but I've never used that in a map either. You will use the date and time quite often, and you can add the number of days to a date using this. So there's a lot of functoids here you just basically never use. The database functoids are basically, I would say, fairly complex, and I won't demo them in these videos. Basically, they would go to, for instance, an SQL database, and they would look up values. So one of the questions you would have there is the map the right place to access a database? So this is where you have to back up and look at your business processes and decide where you want to put your logic, because to me database access would be more likely to be done in an orchestration, not in a map. But nevertheless, for instance, you might need to convert customer ID to customer name. So you can do database lookups here based on keys and return various values, but it's a whole, probably a 2 or 3 hour course just on how to do that. And then the advanced functoids we'll talk about in a separate video.